Everybody vamos, put up your manos. Numbers of time to unite Chicanos, Latinos, and los Estados Unidos. Don't care if you're Ricans or even Cubanos. Look at our coaches. We have more in common, don't let them divide. These suckers are vultures. Either we standing together or better be standing aside. Now is the time, don't know about you, but I'm gonna ride. We gotta climb, fight for your Vegas, but where was your pride? Where are the gunners that you got inside? Look how our ancestors came to this country. They try to be living the American dream. Don't throw it away. They promise you money and catch your agent for the machine. Pick a new team, you bless socialism, but that is a system that you wanna bring. You need to think, we gotta fight communism, cause it look like we on the brink. Connect on the links, a one-party system is taking the power from all of the people. We need to think, whom are you listening? These people are evil and want you to sequence, so what is your plan? Hand in hand, we're standing together, cause it's the one never to do what you can. Please understand, we gotta do better, so walkers remember that we took a stand. Escúchame, 24 es el año, si se puede. Lucha, lucha por la libertad. Órale, vamos.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. How you been?
Good. I've been going through a lot in the past, holidays and stuff like that. Nothing super crazy, but just having to take care of some family. So kind of been out of touch for a minute. Of course, hearing everything that's going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. 2026 is getting started with a bang. So, but yeah, no, other than that, same old work is still work. Just hoping for a better 2026 overall,
Yeah.
economically in the industry that I'm in. Blessed with good health with the family, with, a little hiccup here and there. But other than that, good. Just
Yeah.
living life.
Yeah, no, I mean that kind of stuff eventually right here or there is gonna happen. You'll have some stuff come up that you weren't planning for, but for the most part, I think we're faithful people. So we don't get as hard as sometimes things might seem, we don't get crushed by them, and we just continue pull through and just keeping our faith in God, right?
Yeah, it's being centered, and if that's our center, it'll be pretty hard to get us off track or get us down to the point where, you know, we fall into some weird depression or, start hating our situation that we're in and stuff like that. But that'll never happen.
No.
So,
I think that goes into, like we said in the past, like a lot of the times we see some of these people that don't believe in God or have that kind of faith, they replace it with something else, and
mhm.
that's where kind of things go wrong. But no, we're here. Yeah, like life is life, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, man,
How about you? We haven't done this in a little while, so how's everything been?
it's been good. It's been good. Christine and Gio have been doing the show.
Been holding it down?
Yeah, we gotta rein it back. No, I'm just kidding. No, they've been doing good. But yeah, man, it's been a minute. I'm still keeping up with like news and stuff like that. We're still doing the content on Instagram, so that's still going. Um, but yeah, you and me haven't done a show in a few weeks. I don't even know how long it was. Maybe a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe longer, actually.
yeah, but no, they held it down. And like I said, we kept the content going. We stopped the content for the last couple weeks of December. Just to focus on the holidays, not to worry about any of that. Um, but yeah, man, like you said, 2026 is already starting fast. So it's like if this is the first, what are we, 7 days in?
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Even a full week yet?
yeah, it's gonna be a interesting year, right? Well, especially in general, because we have the election this year,
Yeah.
which is the midterms for federal, but then also California, we have our election here for governor,
Governor.
and I don't know. Right now, dude, like I'll give you my opinion. Right now, I really like Bianco. Right behind him, I like Serpa. I think those are my top two. And then Mercury after the Mercury and Leo are like neck and neck for third. But
Okay.
I think I like Bianco and Serpa. So hopefully they can team up somehow if
Mhm.
one over the other gets it. But
I know Serpa's been ever since we spoke to him. He's been talking about working together, building a some sort of team, if you will, to be strategic. You know how they're gonna attack California as far as you know making a Republican conservative statement here. Maybe get a lot more Republicans, conservative minded people elected. So that's always good. I love that about him. He's fiery. He's America first.
yeah, he is. He
But
is.
I agree with you. I think I'm at this point right now, and I mean we can get into it. But okay. So Bianco, obviously sheriff, law and order. I'm just, you know what? It's like calling someone's bluff. I want to call his bluff. I want him to come in and then see what happens. You
Hmm.
know, talking big about bringing in law and order and making people accountable.
Hmm.
So I think if he sticks with that, this is just my opinion, it'll go a long way because that's what people are craving right now, straight up.
Yeah. I mean, and that what you said goes into, how people feel with Trump, right? That's like on the national level, is people um want to see more accountability. Not that Trump's not doing, not that everything he's doing is good, not that everything he's doing is bad, but I think people did crave or want that accountability for, people committing fraud.
Mhm, mhm.
Just waste, whatever, all the stuff with COVID. A lot of people think that that was something, people say it's crimes against humanity the way they handled that, right? Kind of making
And
people.
it's hard to believe that there's no evidence out there that they can secure or already have to hold some people accountable, right?
Mhm.
I think that's the frustrating part. And speaking about frustrations, we've had conversations and stuff like that and expressing frustrations about what hasn't happened yet or what we would like to see. Do you think that frustration is due? Are we right to be frustrated because of that? What's your take on that?
From the way that I look at it, like if I say, yeah, I'm frustrated, it's because, and I don't know what other people's reasoning would be, but for me it is kind of paying attention to how politics works
Mhm,
and how the pendulum swings or whatever you want to call it. Typically in the midterms, let's say Trump, right? He won the White House, the Senate, and Congress. So typically, if that happens, by the time you hit the midterms, the other party takes over either the Senate or Congress.
yeah.
So my frustration is more to do with time. We're running out of time because if they don't do the things they said they were going to do in that time frame,
Mhm.
which we've already had a year down, we
So
got one
he
more to
he
go.
roughly, just to kind of paint a picture, had, let's round up a little bit. He had 2 years,
Hmm.
right? It's a lesser than 2 years, but let's just round up. Let's just
Yeah.
say he had 2 years to rack up the wins
Hmm.
to breeze through the elections coming up, right? That's kind of
Right.
like what. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if it's a game plan. You try to do them as close to the election as possible. That could be a game plan. I don't know. So
Mhm.
that it's recent, because I think I think Geo, one of the points he made about people in California, and I think it makes sense. People nationally too. It's like they have short term memory when it comes to, like, certain things, certain victories. If you do them too far out, maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to do them too far out. I don't know. But to me, it's
That
like
really makes sense, though. It's like if
I would just do it, because if you did it and then you're within those 2 years of, let's say you
It's
do all the wins up front and 2 years of just success as a result of those wins. I feel like that would be better.
yeah, it's the ripple effect of the winds, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
So that's how I would say I'm frustrated. It's because like I feel like, historically,
mhm,
he's gonna lose control of either the House or the Senate. If
mhm,
that happens, nothing that's really, you know, good or conservative is gonna get passed. So the
yeah,
last 2 years are just gonna be, what do they call it, lame duck,
lame duck,
and it's
and
just gonna be campaigning for,
the
you know
next,
JD Vance or Rubio, whoever they're gonna choose,
mhm,
and we're not gonna get nothing done.
yeah.
So that's the from my personal, like, how I see it. Um, I don't know. What about you?
Okay, so I've been trying to put my finger on it because you can sense the frustration. I mean,
Mhm,
there's something going on, there's something happening, and for me, I've been trying to put my finger on it, and it has to do with what you're talking about, but it also has to do with patterns. So, here's an example. So, I've had the fortune to see, several presidents, come in and come out, and it's gone from, you know, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, you know,
mhm,
and I've seen the successions, right? And one of the patterns that I noticed is that the party that's in, does certain things and it creates, a little bit of chaos, concern in the country.
mhm,
And the next one is supposed to come in and somehow save us from it or do something better from it. I'll give you an example. And I remember this day like it was yesterday or maybe last week. I don't want to exaggerate,
mhm,
but I remember when Bush was, coming out of office and Obama was coming in. It was 2008. The housing market, just took a huge dump, and the economy just straight went,
mhm.
to the floor or
Yeah.
past the floor, you know? And, we had us, the citizens, had to bail out, you know, the companies.
Mhm.
They were too large to fail. That was catastrophic. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
But it was set up for Obama to come in and to help us and save us from that, right?
Right.
Because Republicans just messed everything up. Um, so I see those patterns, and I see Lindsey Graham being right next to Trump. So
With
that
that big old smile.
so you've got one of the biggest rhinos in the past couple of decades, if not a little bit longer,
Mhm.
being, you know, buddy buddy with Trump. It's not a good look. It's not a good pattern. Are they setting us up for the next person, and they're not going to give us any more wins, any more of what they had promised?
Mm.
I mean, it's early on. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Went through 1 year, but mentioning those patterns and what you talked about doesn't make me feel good about it.
Mhm.
And I think that's what I don't want to get played either. That's the other thing that, um, I don't want to fall into that trap. We talk about not having blind loyalty.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't want to fall in that trap. I don't want to fall in the trap of not criticizing, one specific politician or party or anything like that.
Mhm.
So I'm just very cautious right now because of that.
Yeah, I think, that makes a lot of sense to me. And with the things that he's doing, like I said, they some of the things that have gotten done, yeah, they seem good, but we have to. It kind of goes back to the doing all the victories up front, so you see the ripple effect of that win. You have to kind of, as good as it sounds, you have to wait and see how it's going to play out, right?
Right.
Um, Especially right now, like for example, the one thing they did pass was the tax cuts. So right now, it's going to get close to the time where people are going to start doing their taxes, and they're going to see the
Mhm.
ripple effects of that win. Um, you know,
Hopefully tariffs, the big thing with tariffs,
yeah, yeah, that
um,
too.
they're
Lowering
talking
or
about,
reducing the IRS, right? Things that he said, voter integrity nationwide, which for here in California, I think Carl DeMaio's petitions at over 1 million already signatures.
yeah,
So
I saw that. So
that's cool.
the
That's really cool.
there's a lot of people optimistic that voter ID is coming, right? So
Hmm.
we need to keep
So
pushing that. There's a lot of positives, but I
mhm.
think you know, I don't know. There's a lot of things that um make me concerned, to
Yeah,
kind of sum it up. And I think it's good to be cautious and pay attention, be vigilant. Accountability, I think,
it's
is huge.
yeah, it's healthy, right? It's healthy to, like we say all the time, you have people that we're able to speak with and bounce things off of, that we might have a different opinion, different perspective on it, but it keeps everybody, in tune with, okay, what this person might be thinking, or whatnot. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
it
think at
it
the
is good. It's healthy.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, my wish, my want is for people to realize that we're the bosses. We're the ones that they're supposed to be listening to. I get it. Geopolitically, I'm no expert. I don't know what, a certain country in a certain geographical location does for us or helps us, as far as international,
Like priorities and stuff like
recognition
that.
and stuff like that, security.
Mhm,
So I realize that. I just, I read a comment in one of the posts,
mhm.
and someone said, with these tax cuts, how are we gonna cut into the deficit that we have, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw that
And,
one.
yeah, and that's a really good point because that's like a common sense,
Mhm,
thought that comes to someone. But I remember at my previous job, I heard the CEO speaking, and he goes, "Hey, you know what? When we really start looking for leakage, we start finding funds um, that are just being lost, and we're not even aware of it." He goes, he was walking on the stage,
mhm,
and he pretending like he's all, "Look, I pick up a rock, and there's millions under that rock. I pick
mhm,
up another rock, and there's millions under that rock too."
mhm.
So I use that as an example because that's what we're doing with all the fraud that we find. It's not a million. It's not a couple million. It's tens,
10 million. 10.
tens, maybe hundreds of
Mhm,
millions that they find when they turn over that rock, that stone, and find fraud and corruption.
mhm. Well, if
So
you're talking about homelessness, what is it? 24 billion, where half of it they don't even know where it went.
see, so yes, we can
Mhm,
still cut into deficits by not taxing us. It's like, you know, depending on what tax bracket you're in, you're getting 35-40% taken out of your check,
mhm,
and everything you turn around and buy, you're getting taxed.
mhm.
And at the end of the day, you start doing math, you're gonna get freaking pissed off, and you're gonna end up with holes on your wall from being so pissed off that they're taking so much damn money. You
Mhm.
start taking it on the wall or something. But if we really paid attention, dude, they're taking a lot of money from us, and
Yeah,
God
I
knows where
think
it's going.
I forget where I heard this from. It might have been Frisella, but I think he said when you do the math with all the taxes that we pay, like you said, income tax, state tax, property tax, whatever tax you can think of, that we're pretty much working half of the year for free for the government. And like that, if people should think of that, or at least in that way, um, that that's why I think I made that clip about how when the country was founded, the most someone would pay in
Yeah,
taxes is two
1 to
percent,
2%. Yeah.
and it's like, man, we're talking about being close, in the 40s when you add everything up, and
Mhm.
the 2% was adding everything up, you
Yeah.
know. So if you add everything up nowadays, it's insane, and stuff like that is what I think people want to see changed, and the tariffs, if they, I think they'll help, right? They'll reduce the deficit because you have other countries now giving us money, right, to sell products here and whatnot. So that can help. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. They keep talking about how they're gonna get. I forget how much. Did he say trillion? $1 trillion
Mhm. Yeah.
in tariffs? Which, I mean, you know, that's good if you could put a dent on the deficit. I guess. They talk about giving people a cut of the tariffs. I don't know, that could help people, but who knows? Like, I think once it happens, that's one of those things that sounds nice, you know what I mean? But once it happens, you'd have to see like the full effect, and you know
Yeah.
maybe reducing our taxes and then the country keeping the tariffs, it balances out. So the tariffs can go just to lowering the deficit, and then we get to keep our own money, and then
Mhm.
when that happens, we make the economy boom because we'll have more money to
To
spend.
spend, yeah. We'll
So
feel comfortable spending it.
I mean, I don't have a business major or anything, but to me, in my mind, that makes sense.
See, that's the thing is that it doesn't have to be really that complicated. Economics is economics. It's supply and demand, and that's it.
Hmm.
If you've got a balance of 0 in your savings, how much of that are you gonna spend? None, because you ain't got none.
Hmm.
You got a little something in your savings, you're gonna go to the movies, you're gonna go buy, you know, something nice. You're gonna spend that money, you're gonna go out to dinner here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, and that's one of the things where, you know, speaking of frustrations, it's like curbing your frustration in a way because, okay, with the moves that were made in 2025, okay, let's see if, we start seeing the fruits of those moves that happened in 2025 here in 2026. So, I'm not naive to that.
Hmm.
It's just those patterns that, we were talking about and stuff like that that make me a little nervous. And I mean, there's a lot more things that make me nervous too. And you know, you know, I could go off of this little list that I made just off the top of
Hmm.
my head. If you want to hear it, I don't know if you want to
Yeah, go for
add
it. Go
to
for
it or whatever, but okay. Um, Number one, Pat Bondi. In my opinion, a huge disappointment thus far. I
it. Hmm.
haven't seen the accountability come through yet. I really don't like, how the Epstein list has been handled thus far.
Yeah.
It was they talked about it a lot in the beginning. Now it's almost like it's irrelevant. It's, a nothing burger. There's nothing to see there type of thing. Really disappointed in that. And
Hmm.
a lot of people go, it's a small percentage of the Americans that want to see something happen with that. And I would disagree big time with that because that's huge to me. And not be okay. So it's horrible. What the Epstein list represents is abuse of children and
Hmm.
child trafficking and stuff like that. And the elite, you know, portion of it is huge too, but the abuse is even bigger. Now, damned who's on that list, whether they're influential or they're not influential, they've got to suffer the consequences. And some people like to talk that, they're holding those names strategically so that they can manipulate them and stuff like that. And if that is happening, I don't like it.
Mm,
It's just a game that's going to continue to happen. So he's going to be, this administration is going to be here for now. Let's say that the other one went and comes in and takes over, and nothing happened. And then it goes away. The crimes continue to happen. It's not a good solution for me.
mhm,
You know? So that's one. I was really high on Cash Patel because everything of what he did. Um, and man, what a huge disappointment he's handling. And I heard a little excerpt of him talking about the Charlie Kirk investigation.
mhm.
The FBI is really not involved in the investigation. It's the local authorities that um, is handling the investigation and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll take that,
Mhm.
but he lists off all of the arrests, all the good accomplishments that they've had, stopping crime and stuff like that. But for some reason, it just in a feeling that I feel like there's more that could be done there, you know? So it's
Yeah.
pretty huge disappointment. Dan Bongino, another huge disappointment. Um, because I mean, and the reason that I'm saying this is because Pat Bondi, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino came in hot. Like they were gonna come in guns blazing.
Mhm.
Dude, they came in with water guns. And it's like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
No, no, not taking away from any of the other
Yeah, yeah.
accomplishments and arrests that the investigations that they've been handling, but that's not matching the energy that they were coming in with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's that. Um, let's see. Another something that put a really bad taste in my mouth was, Trump negotiating with Russia and Ukraine and getting close to, a ceasefire and a peace deal with both of them early
Mhm.
on, and the way that the Ukrainian president just disrespected them. Not Trump necessarily, just us, America, coming
Mhm.
in the way that they come in entitled, thinking that we're just gonna continue to give them money and stuff like that, and then going against the agreements that they had come up with. It's like
Mhm.
um, not not impressed with that at all. And then with Israel and Iran, they come up, they have peace talks,
Mhm.
and Israel strikes right after that, and it's like, what is that?
Mhm.
You know, really disappointed in that. Um, um, let's talk about Venezuela. You know,
Mhm.
it's look. I know every administration, Obama, um, the Bush Jr., the Clinton, they've all done something like this to a certain degree. I just don't like the president that it sets
Yeah.
or that he's following it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because look, we could talk about, Russia in other countries, China, even Canada with sanctions.
Mhm.
They're not doing what, they're not following certain agreements, or, the US is pressuring, those countries to do something, to come to an agreement, to come to a negotiating table and come to an agreement. But they sanction them, they put the pressure on them that way. So there's other ways to handle it. I know Maduro's a bad guy.
Mhm.
I know that. Everybody knows that. But I'm just presenting the flip side.
Mhm.
Say, for example, that Kamala would have, won the presidency, and she comes in and does this, you know,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
or, or Biden, does it. Um, so I'm not. I'm not an expert on all of that geopolitical strategies and all that stuff. And if what we did was even legal, I don't even know that. I hear that it isn't.
Hmm.
And I hear, I started listening to something that, there's something that, the United States can do something, certain things in the Western Hemisphere, if it's happening in the Western Hemisphere and stuff like that,
Yeah.
from early on from our founding fathers type of situation. So, that's yet to come out and see if it is. And look at the optics is that we had how many of those um CIA operatives or that are still working there or used to work there
Hmm.
came out and said that they were urging military people to not follow illegal orders and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I know that's a bunch of BS,
Hmm.
but this leads, this falls right into their hands. I haven't heard the
Yeah.
news talking about it, but I can only imagine what they're saying right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. The people that put out that video, it was like seven congressmen or whoever, but ex
Hmm.
military, I think,
Hmm.
about not following unlawful orders, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, yeah, I didn't even think of that. They can really spin this in their favor. Like, see, look what we said,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, like you said too, it's like I've heard that you know it was wrong legally, and then I've also heard that it was fine. Because people say, "Oh, it's an act of war," but then they go, "No, it wasn't war. It was just an extraction of a fugitive." So it's
Correct. Yeah.
like, you
And
know,
he wasn't recognized as a leader, as a president, and stuff like that. And here's that
I
very,
mean, Biden did put the bounty on him, so
yeah,
yeah.
true. True. I mean, there's a lot to unwrap there. I mean, Venezuela has a very interesting history, and there's so much history that we don't even know about, man. I didn't even know that um, in the 50s, early 50s, I think it was, is that we went into Guatemala and did a regime change there.
Mhm.
So, dude, there's so many things that we don't even know about, you know? I know we've done regime changes, everywhere, but Venezuela is very interesting in the sense that the Dominions machines came from there, and that's one of the points. Was it Chavez that started that whole thing? Where he kept
Mhm.
on winning every single election,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think Maduro kind of kept that winning streak going with
Yeah,
those
because
Dominion machines.
I was trying to think of like, because people, when it happened, they were like, "Oh, it's because of the drugs," that
Yeah,
was the reason.
that was the very first thing.
And then, okay, it's about the oil.
Trump
Um,
said it too.
yeah,
Smart
Trump said
president.
it too. And then, you know, it's about liberating, right,
Hmm.
the Venezuelans. And then the last thing that I, was like, okay, it's about the 2020 election and the machine. So it's like, it like you said, was Maduro a bad guy? Yeah. Now with this thing, you know, we have to see how it plays out. We can't fully celebrate it yet because we don't fully know the actual reason for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's for just the oil, then is the oil going to benefit America? Sure, right? It'll more than likely drop gas prices everywhere except California. But
Yeah, our prices
everyone
gonna
will,
go up.
everybody paying 50
Yeah.
cents will be paying $3 still. It'll be cheaper, but
Yeah.
um, or if it's for the Dominion thing and seeing how, if it was Venezuela doing that and affecting our elections for, I've been seeing maybe more than 20 years,
Hmm.
that has to get squared out. But we have to see how it's gonna play out, what it's gonna do in the long run. But you know, they I mean, it was pretty cool. They went in, hit up what they had to hit up, grabbed the guy they had to grab, and they were out. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool that we can do that, but you
Yeah.
know, you know, we want. I mean, I want to see him do that wherever Fauci lives.
Hey,
That's what I want.
you hit the nail on the head. If we could do that there, let's do it here.
Hmm.
So, that's the type of energy that, 2026 has to have, but here. So, you know what? All this controversy, that we had in 2025 and the what seems to be a split in the Republican Party and stuff like that,
Hmm.
if we had to go through that to get the wins, so be it. Let's see what happens.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of things that, to wrap up, the list is I'm not liking the lobbies, man. I'm not liking the lobbies that are moving things. I mean, okay, you know, if you ask me, lobbies in general not good. The people should be the ones that sway, you know, our politicians in regards to, what how they're going to represent us, right?
Hmm.
Um, and you know, if I had a job where, I told my employees or my shareholders that I was going to do something, and they put me in the position as CEO, and I don't come through, they're going to replace me.
Yeah.
If I tell a bold-faced lie, I'm going to get called out and I'm going to get replaced.
Hmm.
And I just feel like the lobbies, how does that help us?
It doesn't.
It doesn't square. It doesn't make sense.
It's like, it's like we're used for the vote, and then it's like the lobbies are like kind of like, okay, we got it from here. Now we're gonna
Hmm.
determine, like all the stuff that we feel like, all right, yeah, Trump should be doing, right? That's what we all voted for. But yeah, when you start thinking about the lobbying and the money that goes behind all that and the decisions and, the the military type of lobby, of course they want what's going on.
Yeah.
They want to sell weapons, um, you know, to all these countries or whatnot. You got the health lobby, which I think right now, at least think they're losing, which is good. Uh, they did the whole. I don't know if you saw they released the new the pyramid,
Mhm.
nutritional pyramid, which is basically they just flipped it. um, so in that sense, it looks like um that's there. It just you're right, man. The lobbying, they they should have no say. They should have it shouldn't be allowed, honestly. It should just be like um this is what we voted for, the people. So whoever we voted to represent us, that's that's the target they have to hit.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's how
Look,
it should be.
you know, is it me, or is it influencers that are out there, or is it just in plain sight now where, let's just say, the Israel lobby is just going hard. I mean, BB, we saw videos of them strategizing with influencers and how much money they're going to put into
Hmm.
influencers and buying platforms.
Hmm.
Um,
The thousand pastors.
thousand pastors, man. It's like, I think it's just blatant,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
that's one huge lobby. And look, people,
for and it's for even it's not even it's a huge lobby, but it's not even for American interest.
yeah. So let's we can verify this, but I'm just gonna speak on what I've heard.
Hmm.
Is they have great benefits like free healthcare and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
even school and stuff like that. And we don't have that here.
Hmm.
And but that's our money. Those are our tax dollars.
Hmm.
So make that make sense. How? So there's a lobby to take our tax dollars to fund them, to make them wealthy, and they determine what happens here in America
Hmm.
because the politicians are listening to their lobby.
Hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that mad? Like, wouldn't that drive you crazy? I mean, it should drive you crazy, but it's almost like out of a movie.
No, and then when people start talking about it, like, like we are right now, where you just get, oh, you're anti-Semitic,
Hmm.
and it's like, no, just it's a good question. Questions that everybody likes to revert to Charlie Kirk. Questions that he even was asking towards the end of his life.
Hmm.
They're valid questions. There's nothing wrong with asking the question. Um, you know,
You
that's
know,
what we got to do.
and it's not exclusive just to that lobby.
No, no.
Big pharma, they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That should be illegal. I think it is illegal
Should be.
in other countries,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think other countries, they can't even have ads, right, on
yeah,
TV
they can't have ads. Yeah.
for prescription or drugs and stuff like that. So,
Hmm.
you know, um someone on Instagram said, uh do you think if the people got together we can make a change?
A
And
hundred percent.
that's, yeah, 100%. That's something that we've talked about here in general. Is, look, we're not going to all agree on everything, you know. Some people are, we'll just, since we're talking about Israel, some people are going to be super pro Israel, some people are not, right, on the same side, on the right, if you want to call it. But okay, just because we don't agree there, there's still all this stuff right here
That we do.
that we do. So I might not be as pro Israel as somebody else, but if we got together and just tackled here in here, what's affecting us here in California, here in the United States, yeah, if we got together, we could get it done.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, that, you know, it's huge on the left, and, you know, to my opinion, it's a disappointment on the right, because with stuff like that, now you see it where they split, and it's like, oh, I can't work with you or get together with you because of this thing over here that I don't agree with. I agree with you everything in here, but this thing out here, that it's like a, what do you call it? It's a deal breaker. Deal breaker is the
Yeah.
word. So, but to answer the question, yes.
I think so. And to go a little bit further, it's kind of crazy because MTG um, posted something like this, or I don't know. I kind of heard it in passing. Is that to stop paying taxes or
Hmm.
something like that?
A lot of people saying to stop
Well, no, I
paying
mean,
taxes.
look, well, how many years ago was it? I think it was 2012. I was having a conversation with someone, and we were talking about at the end game, what's the solution? Because what we do argue, if we do argue with someone, or we talk and try to convince someone and stuff like that, we're talking about distractions, and we're having conversations about exactly what they're meant to do, is distract us and not focus on the root cause of the problem. So what I was telling this person, I'm like, end game would be if everybody got together and we didn't pay our taxes, we would break the system, because the irony is they exist because of us. The machine exists because of us. They have a money tree in the backyard to do whatever they want,
Hmm.
unlimited resources because of us. at
Yeah.
the end of the day. So you've got a two-party system that naturally causes a divide amongst people, amongst Americans, amongst citizens, right?
Hmm.
That's natural. Then within each party, it's being broken up in factions so they don't even work together. So that old adage of divide and conquer
Hmm.
is there.
Yeah.
And we have to get past that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have to go back. I don't know. Do you remember as a little kid, like family functions and stuff like that? And you would have an aunt that would get mad at another aunt, or
Hmm.
like, you know, they would
Yeah.
start talking smack and they would have a disagreement and it'd get a little, spicy, and, but 10, 15 minutes later,
It's done.
they're having a conversation about something else and they're smiling, hugging, and,
They go back to right here where
yeah,
everything's cool.
yeah, that's the way. If people, don't remember that,
Hmm.
that's what it used to be like.
Hmm.
And that's where we have to come back to.
Yeah.
People need to understand that having conversations and not agreeing on every single little thing is normal. And that's not our enemy at the same time.
Hmm.
So, I think if we can deliver a message like that that's a little bit different from other people, I would have to say that would be a really nice accomplishment.
Hmm.
But, that's just our opinion. But
Yeah. No. And then that kind of, to that point, it's like the clip I did on Christians.
yeah,
It's like, okay, yeah. Again, it goes to the same thing. Different denominations have different ways, different beliefs. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, we're all following Jesus Christ. Um, we might disagree with the method, right? Hell, we all might be just victims of interpretation. We don't know. But as a Christian, it's okay. One of the main things is having faith. So if I have to have faith in what I believe and what I'm doing is the correct way, right?
yeah,
But also at the same time, I can't say, you're wrong if you're not doing it like me. It's one of those things where it's like, because then we end up, like you said, now we have different little sectors of Christians, and then they're divided,
yeah.
and boom.
Look, this is obviously just my opinion, but look, everybody is going through their own journey, and that
Hmm.
journey
Yeah.
changes at different points of your life. So you've got so many people going through their own journey, and they're going through their own uh, journey in a certain point of their life. So the way that I feel and interpret things right now at this age, at this day and time,
Hmm.
will be different next year, possibly.
Hmm.
Maybe I've already gone through my journey, which I have. We're under constant attack. I grew up Catholic, as what do they call them? A cradle Catholic.
Yeah.
Um, and going through the school system, it wants to rip religion out of you.
Hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. That was my experience. And I remember teachers coming up to me and telling us humans are cancer because of X, Y, and Z. We destroy everything. Da 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 da.
Mm.
And as a young mind that's not fully developed yet, and you've got an educator telling you this, that's supposed to be smarter, higher intellect than you, more experience, or whatever, um, you start believing some of that stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So we're under constant attack, trying to rip, God away from
Hmm.
us spiritually. And everybody's in a different journey. Have some grace. You know, if someone doesn't believe exactly what you believe in that in this moment right now today, it's okay. They're not
Hmm.
done yet. We're not done yet.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
with faith, I believe we're all going to get to where we need to get. It might not be right now,
Hmm.
but it's coming. So have some grace with
Yeah.
others. And you know, I talked about that human urge, you know, to want to express and vocalize, you know, why you feel that you're correct, or
Hmm.
the way that you interpret certain, you know, verses or things. And that's okay too. You can do that. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that. But we're going back to being able to talk and have conversations, and at the end of the conversation, end up shaking hands and being okay and still working together. That's how we win.
Hmm.
But we
Yeah.
don't win by just continuing to cause fractures in relationships and in growing, because all we start doing is just, you know, going down from there.
Yeah. No, that's true. But I think people should kind of at least take that right from this conversation is that you know don't let the small differences further and further fracture something that what that guy was asking. It's like if we all got together, we can accomplish a lot. But if they have us being tribal, I think that's the word, or whatever you want to call it, then we weaken ourselves when we
Yeah.
could just unite and be a stronger front. So yeah.
You know, I like to use this example a lot because I use it at work. I'll have people come to me and right off the bat they'll list five things of why they can't get a certain task done. I can't do it because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then I just listen and I'm like, okay, you just rattled off six, seven things, reasons why you can't do it. Give me two, give me three of how you can do it.
Mm.
Let's switch that mentality to thinking about ways that we can get it done versus why we can't. I think that I mean that's helped me personally, you know, a lot.
Mm.
But you know,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do, Daniel? What are we gonna do? We might be full of hot air, you know. We
Yeah.
might be full of shit. So
Yeah. um no, man, but other than what we talked about, I think to close it, I guess this was the other question we got. It says, what do you guys think about what's going on in Minneapolis, where ICE agents shot and killed the lady in her car as she was fleeing away? Did you see
when
that
did that happen? When did that happen?
today?
Today?
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna. Can I give you just my like what comes to mind? Very first thing.
go for it.
We don't have the full story yet, and we have to wait to get the full story before we start
Mhm.
developing an opinion on it.
Yeah,
We have to get the facts first.
yeah. Because I mean, I saw a couple. I did see the video. There's a couple angles.
Hmm.
I don't. The lady was in her car. To me, looks like she was trying to block the agents on the road. Looks like they approached her. Looks like then she did try to flee, but when she's fleeing, to me it looked like she pressed
Just
on the
trying to get
gas
them.
a little too hard. So it does have that appearance. One of the agents was kind of in front. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm, that agent, if he felt that that car was going to come straight to him. I don't know in that moment, you know what I mean? That's why I think that's what he's saying. He thought that the lady was going to hit him? I
Yeah.
don't know, dude. I don't know why she was there. You know what I mean?
So can I add to that?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw that crazy. Hold on, my laptop's gonna die.
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy story, and each side starts going to you know their conclusion, and
Hmm.
you can see the video, and yeah, you could come up to either or, right? You can say, oh, she was trying to leave, they shouldn't have shot her, or you could come to the conclusion that it looked like she was trying to hit the guy. So you know I don't know what her intentions were, but it did look like she was trying to just obstruct
Yeah.
the situation.
Okay. Sorry, I had to put the charger on my laptop.
There.
Um, so I don't know if you remember. You guys remember this video when I think it was in a street, and there was an SUV that was blocking ICE agents in their vehicles. Trying to get through the road.
Hmm.
And I mean, they were slamming into the vehicles really, really hard, and then trying to barricade them.
Hmm.
So, and again, take this with a grain of salt, but this was months ago. And one of the things that they were thinking that these protesters, or whatever you want to call them, were trying to do is provoke them to have a situation like this. So a lot of the times, look, um, sometimes people have good intentions, and then they have real genuine concern, for the people that are being affected, that are getting deported or arrested and stuff like that. And you have to understand that they might be approached, or um, driven or manipulated to do certain things,
Hmm.
but the other people have ulterior motives um, to make something happen.
Hmm.
And one of the things that they were talking about is those aggressive maneuvers were to incite something, to take it to the next level. So I haven't even seen the video, but just with the description that you're giving, it seems like that could be likely. It may not be, but let's wait and see
Yeah.
until we get some solid information. When stuff like this happens, it's funny. I say it all the time. The funny thing about time is that it reveals the truth,
Yeah.
but we have to resist that impulse and make a decision
Hmm.
right then and there when we see
Yeah.
that.
And then it's one of those things where it's like, even if like if I try to put myself in either shoe, right? Me, the way that I think, maybe it's because of how I am, right? How I'm wired or whatever. I feel like I wouldn't even be there trying to obstruct. You know what I mean?
That's my point.
I
That's
wouldn't
my
be
point.
there.
Hmm.
Now if I'm the agent, I don't know. Like I can't put myself in his shoes and go, would I have shot her or not? I don't know in that moment. You know what I mean? It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
I,
Everybody can have the perfect answer, after the fact,
well,
but in that moment, if you're not one of the two people involved in this case, it's you know,
Monday morning quarterbacking, you know.
yeah. But we'll see. We'll let it play out, and just like we've said with the other stuff, with the whole thing with Venezuela, Maduro, there's things that have to play out. You got to get all the details before you start reacting and coming to conclusions. So that's something that I think we've learned here is to kind of see you know what comes up, because like you said,
Hey,
with time the truth comes out.
yeah, and it's part of the manipulation. Remember that is that what's the saying that you say is that if they control your emotions, they control your decisions,
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Exactly.
So we, we've got to check it. We've got to check our emotions. We've got to understand that that's part of manipulation
Mhm.
tactics right there.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Well, that was a good combo, I think.
yeah. I mean,
Well, we
covered a
still
lot.
got it.
Covered a lot. Um, Excited for 2026. I want to see Maha do huge things. 2026.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know that takes time, but real excited for that.
yeah. And that's the thing. We just don't want to run out of time. So
Yeah, and
Congress,
then
Senate, get to it.
yeah. Can I say one thing
Yeah, yeah. Go for it.
before we sign off?
Hmm.
Is one thing that I have to say is this whole talk about elections depending on influencers. I think that's utter and complete BS.
Hmm.
It's the wins from the administration that's going to get the wins this year. If you're on that boat where you think that influencers have to get in a certain lane or whatever to win,
No,
I think we're looking at things
the wrong way. Yeah,
the
it's
wrong way,
about
the
the
wrong lens.
administration and what they accomplish and what they get done.
That's it.
That's what's gonna determine whether we continue winning or if we hand it back to the other team. It's like
Yeah,
football, right? You're either gonna score a touchdown or you're gonna punt that shit back.
yeah.
So
Simple as that.
cool. All right, man. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on Tuesday. Tuesday. We have Carl DeMaio. We just found
Carl.
out today. So we'll have Carl DeMaio on. We'll talk about the Reform California thing he's got going on, like we mentioned earlier. They've already passed 1 million votes. So we'll see by Tuesday where they're at. Could be, I think they want another 200,000 to be solid. So who knows? By Tuesday, maybe they get it. I know that, you know, I saw Elon Musk share it today, that specific Reform California thing. Uh, I think Benny Johnson shared it today. So bigger profiles shared the.
Hey, we should share that tomorrow. I haven't signed it. I need
Okay.
to get, I need to get with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody needs to get with that.
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, if you go to Reform California, I don't know if it's .org or .com. I'll check it right now, so I don't want to send people in that. Uh, if you go there, they can you can request the form or download it, and they will send you, I think, like an envelope and everything, or they send you the pack, and you sign it and send it back to them. Yeah, reformcalifornia.org.
All right.
So yeah,
Shame
get
on
that.
me. I haven't filled it out. What the heck is wrong with me, man?
You're gonna be the what is it, 1.2 million signature. So
Yeah.
you'll get us across the finish line.
Yeah, we will.
All right then. Well, we'll catch you guys next week. God bless and peace be with you.
Peace.